Now for our second story, this is going to be a little bit of a headline. This is a 5-minute video. I don't know how much of it I'm going to play, but it seems like it's worth watching. This is basically Meta and Mark Zuckerberg is basically taking away like the fact checking away from Facebook. So basically after Trump's first election, Facebook put all these things in where it's like they're fact checking. If you're putting wrong information, they're going to take it down. If you're doing harmful or hateful information, they're going to take it down. And then now with Trump getting back in the office, everybody, all the tech people especially, they want to be like best friends with him. So they're doing what he says. This is a part of why he's doing this. And then and when I say he, I think Mark Zuckerberg. But I think another part of it is also, of course, some of the things that he's saying is true. Like one of the major things he's going to say in here is like, we're not trying to be the the people saying what's true or what's not true on a platform that's supposed to have all types of different ideas and all types of different people saying what they want. Personally, I think it's good. I think it's good that they're taking away some of these fact-checking things, and they'll get to this, and they're moving to community notes, kind of what Twitter has, because social media is a place for all ideas, and that means you're going to get wrong ideas and right ideas, and you're going to get some things that are harmful and hateful, but mixed into that, you're going to get things that aren't going to be said on major or like traditional news platforms, and I think it's important to have people to use critical thinking when they get information on social media and to be able to realize you don't have to believe or take everything that you see on social media as fact. But I think, and he'll get to this point as well, we're going to play the video. I think when you get into trying to take away things that are true before you know whether or not they're true or not, it kind of becomes dangerous, and there's too much, there's too many, I can't think of the word, too many restrictions, I guess, on something that's meant to be a place for free-forming ideas. And let's look at this video.
Hey, everyone.
It's an interesting 5 minutes. And then let me see.
I want to talk about something important today, because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship.
So, because the reason that this started is all for good reason, right? Like when Trump came into office in 2016, social media, that's part of why Elon Musk bought Twitter, is because he didn't like the censorship. But a lot of people thought we needed the censorship because there was a lot of misinformation. There was the stuff with Hillary where there was like Russia getting involved in the election. Like there was just a big amount of false information and bad ideas and hateful language being put into social media that could have been affecting elections and could have been really affecting the way people think at a large rate. So I think that's what he's getting to, where he was like, we definitely want to look at those things. And then especially when you have like illegal activity going on. But then he's also saying, and let me say, so they created these fact checkers and started hiring these fact checkers to try to help with this. But he's saying, with these fact checkers, the 1% of time when they're taking away or shutting down or messing up a post where somebody says something that could seem wrong or could seem like it's going past like what's gonna be socially acceptable, anytime that happens, it's hurting somebody, and that 1% is affecting millions of people that use Facebook. And I feel like that's a fact. Again, social media is supposed to be a place where you have free-forming ideas and multiple trains of thought. So I think what he's saying is fair. But let me keep in mind of all this. He's doing this for multiple reasons, but he's doing this for Trump. But the reason behind it is pretty good.
The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith.
The community notes on Twitter, I actually like them. The community notes are ran by like the people on Twitter, so it's not like a fact-checking company, but he gets into like how the fact-checking companies are too liberal and how they make mistakes and how, like, if this election taught you anything, it's that the left liberals have control over the media more than the right. That's just a simple fact. Now on social media and like in those different planes, it's a different world, especially on Twitter and things like that. Facebook was more liberal. I assume I don't even use Facebook, but like as far as like CNN, Associated Press, even MSNBC, all of those are more left leaning. And I think he's saying right here that Meta being one of those left leaning places affected the election in 2016 because with the Hillary Clinton email stuff, they didn't let that shit go out when it ended up being true. And seeing how that happened, and now seeing with Trump putting more pressure on him, I mean, I think the fact checkers is probably, or the community notes, I think it might be better. And I've also seen like the community notes of Twitter, I haven't really heard anything or seen anything about them ever being wrong. I think they're helpful, and I like them. I honestly do.
To address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse.
That is basically him saying that there's going to be more of a space for far right people to say, to start these conversations about gender and immigration that could border on hateful. I mean, because he's saying there's content limitations on those things. Now they're going to take those limitations away. I mean, it is probably going to start again. Yeah, they're going to see a lot of fucked up shit about immigration and women, probably. Yeah, that could be a little bit. But it's hard. That could be bad, but then it's hard because it's social media, not a place where you have an open and free form ideas and that whole freedom of speech conversation. I mean, yeah.
What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas.
I think he's saying it perfectly, and this is a good video.
Make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms. Third, we're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now, we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high-severity violations. And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action. The problem is...
See, and it sounds like Facebook, because I never really used Facebook like that, but it sounds like Facebook is going to become more like Twitter again, where people are going to be able to do like, say pretty much whatever. It's going to be really a free form, open conversation, but then you're going to see crazy shit all the time. And if you're on Twitter, you're used to that. Maybe people don't like that on Facebook, but it's going to be interesting to see. Let me see.
We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content. The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down. Fourth, we're bringing back civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed, so we stopped recommending these posts. But it feels like we're in a new era now, and we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again.
The language that he keeps saying, and we're in a new era, we're going to make the new Facebook and the new content rules and regulations align with what we're in. This is basically saying Trump. This is Trump. This is Trump. And at the end of it, we can maybe skip to that because I think we saw the most important part. He outright states that kind of like, we're excited to work with Trump. We're excited for the new incoming president. Let me look at that. So
countries have secret courts that can order companies to quietly take things down. China has censored our apps from even working in the country. The only way that we can push back on this global trend is with the support of the US government. And that's why it's been so difficult over the past 4 years when even the US government has pushed for censorship. By going after us and other American companies, it has emboldened other governments to go even further. But now we have the opportunity to restore free expression, and I am excited to take it. It'll take time to get this right, and these are complex systems. They're never going to be perfect. There's also a lot of illegal stuff that we still need to work very hard to remove. But the bottom line is that after years of having our content moderation work focus primarily on removing content, it is time to focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our systems, and getting back to our roots about giving people voice. I'm looking forward to this next chapter. Stay good out there, and more to come soon.
Let me see. We missed the Trump part because I think that's important. Let's see. Yep, there we go. President Trump.
I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our teams.
Oh, wait.
It will also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down. Fourth, we're bringing back civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed, so we stopped recommending these posts. But it feels like we're in a new era now, and we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again. So we're going to start phasing this back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads while working to keep the communities friendly and positive. Fifth, we're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas. As we work to promote free
California, humongous blue state, Gavin Newsom. Then you get, what is his name? Texas, where I don't even know who the, let me see who the, whatchamacallit. Texas Governor Greg Abbott. What is he? He'd have to be, right? Yeah, let's not be. Yeah. Moving from California, which was known to be a big place for tech, a big place for social media, but now as tech is going with Trump, and Trump is obviously Republican, that is going to be, they're moving to Texas. That's kind of a big deal.
Expression. I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our teams. Finally, we're going to work with President Trump to push back on governments around the world that are going after American companies and pushing to censor more. The U.S. has the strongest constitution.
Yeah, we pretty much already saw kind of the rest of that because I put it at the wrong place. But it's good and bad. I think social media should be a place where you're allowed to say anything you want, except for hate speech, because I don't think hate speech should ever be allowed. But it's just kind of one of those things where, what do I want to say? Social media wasn't made for you to always be right. It's a news source, but it's not the news. And you have to be able to expect that and expect things to be wrong, expect things to be uncomfortable. And I think we did get to a place where the government was putting or getting too much in social media and having too much of effect on it. So I think it probably is for the best, and it probably is a good thing that this is happening. But this is only happening because of Trump. And the only reason that what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg. The only reason Zuck put all those restrictions and fact checkers on social media in the first place was because of Joe Biden and the left. So, I mean, this just shows that he's going to go with where the government is mainly. And then we already all know that Trump is affecting everything. I mean, even just to think about it again, what's his name? Dana White.